meetings, traveling, dialogue, community engagement, community participation, problems that affect us valley-wide, regionally, and statewide. And I think that what is happening today, it's going to be only the beginning of a series of events like this that will encourage and promote community participation and in the decision-making process, participation regarding problems like air quality, water quality, even the Salton Sea, which are the three topics that we're gonna have today, that we have today in the agenda.
So I know we have Dr. Walker here, who's the principal here at Desert Mirage High School. Pretty amazing guy.
Well, you know, first of all, I'm honored to give a welcome to you all for the great work that this event stands for and symbolizes. I think all of us are committed people, committed citizens, but and it gives us an opportunity here at Desert Mirage High School to have our students be a part of it. And so we are fortuitous in a sense to be so lucky to have the facility to say, hey, here's, yes, use us. Give us the opportunity to partner with you, because many of our students, as you know, live in this community and are faced with the challenges every day.
I want to take a moment to focus on the effects of air pollution on our children and on our schools. Research shows that what our children are breathing today will make a difference for the rest of their lives. Research shows that health effects of air pollution on children's still developing bodies is tremendous. Children that breathe high levels of air pollution have smaller lungs than children that grow up with clean air. They are more likely to have sore throats and colds. Air pollution has also been shown to increase the risk of asthma development. Schools in areas with elevated air pollution see significant increases in illness-related absenteeism. But air pollution actually affects not only the lungs, but also the brains of our children. Children that breathe higher levels of air pollution have lower IQ and vocabulary scores than children breathing clean air. Their ability to memorize and learn is adversely affected. It is thus not surprising that air pollution affects the academic performance of our children. Areas with high levels of air pollution have higher proportions of students who do poor at school. And doing poor at school will adversely affect the income potential of this next generation. So it's really all about equality. But there's hope. A study from Southern California suggests that reducing the exposure of our children to outdoor, coarse and fine particulate matter would improve their math test scores and their reading scores. One way to immediately help our children breathe cleaner air is to help them breathe cleaner air at school.
Coming down here to this area has brought me full circle. My parents came to this area in the mid-40s when the border, they were actually asking people to come in. They would say, "Apúrenle, hurry up, come and work." So my parents were farm workers. I was born in Tijuana. As a child, I lived in Tijuana. So a lot of my upbringing in Tijuana included a childhood selling gum and other things on the street.
We are grossly medically underserved in not only the eastern Coachella Valley, but areas like Desert Hot Springs. Many of our low-income and underdeveloped communities in the Coachella Valley have unpaved roads. The dust triggers our children's asthma and complicates our elders' chronic bronchitis. Arsenic has also been found in the eastern Coachella Valley's well water up to a concentration of 100 parts per billion. That's 10 times the maximum contamination level. Long-term arsenic ingestion can cause cancer, cardiovascular and gastrointestinal diseases, memory loss, and poor school performance, which leads to poor academic, graduation rates, lack of college going, lack of jobs, lack of economic development, and therefore you can see how the cycle continues and how there is an interplay with the environment, our health, and our progress. Now, the Salton Sea is another major determinant of health in our environment. And you're going to hear a lot about the importance of the Salton Sea to our physical health. And I know that some will talk about the importance of the Salton Sea in our economic health and the importance of it for our environmental health. Now, there are dangers of doing nothing. And as a physician, I just mentioned some of those dangers because if the Salton Sea evaporates, you will have a dust bed. And it's not too difficult to realize what will happen when we have our high winds or we have this fine particulate dust bed, that the finer the particles, the deeper in our lungs they go. And those dust beds aren't just clean dust, right? Because there's such a thing as contaminated dust. They carry sulfur and other toxic elements that could penetrate into our blood system. But just the aggravation and the irritation of those dust particles will stimulate asthma in our youth and our kids that already face those disparities and high rate of asthma because of the impoverished conditions in which they live. So that is why it is so important for us to realize the dangers of doing nothing, but understand the greatest opportunities that we have. To not talk about and sit idly and wait for a catastrophe to occur and become victims of something that we can change, but to have the hope and opportunity to determine our future, to understand that we are the architects of our lives, the captains of our destiny, and look at the opportunity and create summits like this, organized in the organizations like the ones that are presented here, to manifest our strength as a community and to protect our environment for our children's future. Our poor communities also lack parks and safe streets and have many more fast food restaurants than fresh food markets. So how can I as a physician, or we as a healthcare community, or we as community advocates recommend an obese patient living in a poor neighborhood to exercise more when they lack access to parks and a safe neighborhood? How can we suggest to a farm worker family living below the poverty level to buy fresh produce that they've harvested when it is cheaper to purchase a hamburger and fries for their family? These are the tough questions that we must ask ourselves. And these are the tough questions that inspire us to our greatness as a community. These are the tough questions that remind us that we are not victims, nor will we ever be victims. But they remind us that we are the solution to our society problems. They remind us that every one of us, young, old, affluent, indigent, those with a third grade education and those with a college education, that every single one of us has a responsibility to ourselves to make better decisions in the way we take care of ourselves, but also in the way we take care of the environment. But they also remind us of our social responsibility and the responsibility that we have for each other, the responsibility that we have for our communities, the responsibility that we have for the future, so that no longer we sit idle and wait for others to solve our problems. But solution-based policy and discussions begins right here in this summit. Begins with your participation. And that's what we teach our children. That's what we teach our youth. That's what we tell them, mijo, mija, you are the solution. You are not the problem, you are the solution. And that's what we inspire in our communities. And together, as students, as grandparents and parents, together as scientists, public health experts, physicians and policymakers, we must reach an acceptable answer in order to eliminate our health and environmental disparities and ensure a healthy earth and healthy communities. Once again, I want to say thank you so much. I've been here multiple times as a role as an emergency medicine doctor who, as one person, ensures that the voice of the people that I care for as a physician are heard. And now I'm here as your congressman with that same mission to ensure that the voice of the people that I care for are heard as well. From here all the way to the Atlantic, all the way to Washington, D.C., and back again. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for putting on this summit, for continuing the conversation and the dialogue, and I want to assure you that you have my ears, and more importantly, that I am fighting to reduce these disparities in healthcare, in health, and the environment, because you cannot separate our individual health from the health of our environment. And with that, I want Luis Olmedo and the other main organizers to come up. Luis, I want to congratulate you. And I want to give a proclamation in honor of the first Environmental Justice Health Summit here in the Coachella Valley. And with that, I want to present this to Luis, Eduardo, and sons. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy your conference.